Wada, Shiroro local government area of Niger State, to sympathize with the victims of insecurity and flood disasters in the state. The Vice President, who also flagged off the distribution of relief materials to the IDPs, said his visit was on the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to assess the plight of the affected farmers and to encourage the citizens to have faith in the Tinubu-led administration. Meanwhile, as Nigeria continues to grapple with the aftermath of devastating floods in Maiduguri, Borno State, and other parts of the country, the federal government has issued an urgent warning about impending flooding along the Niger and Benue rivers. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Usev, issued the alert in Abuja during a press briefing on the flooding situation in Maiduguri. He warned that a large volume of water was flowing through the rivers down to the Niger Delta region, stressing the need for heightened vigilance and proactive measures, particularly in southern Nigeria, to mitigate the effect of potential flooding. The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, CGC Adewale Adeniyi, has tasked the service's public relations team on the need to align their communication strategies with the agenda of President Bola Tinubu. The Comptroller General made this known at the 2024 Public Relations of the Service in Abuja. Here is Kikelomo Okeri's report.
The Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, charged the public relation officers of the service to create more awareness on the service trade modernization project, while urging the team across zones and commands of the country to keep their eyes on the balls and change the trajectory. The custom boss further charged the PR officers to invest more in discipline, commitment, professional standards as they aspire to be the best at what they do.
As the society evolves, our strategies have to evolve. We must continue to be strategic in our approach to communication. Communication can no longer be like we have generated 20 million or we have made 5 seizures. We now have to look at the strategic and the bigger picture. We now have to begin to align what we do to the objective of Mr. President.
President of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, Dr. Ike Neliaku, reminded media practitioners and the PR professionals present at the conference that public relations is the core of life. The National Public Relations Officer of Customs, Abdullahi Miwada, reflected on the journey so far as he commended the Comptroller General for his support to the growth of the team.
Public relations is about consultation. When you consult, you give a consensus, then you create. And PR is about creation. And who did they create? In his own image. You cannot make an image until you become an image. So PR is about image making.
This conference is not merely a gathering of minds, but a chance to collectively reflect on our journey, assess our present, and envision our future. As we explore the chronicles of progress, we will trace the historical path of our units, acknowledging milestones reached, the challenges overcome, and the invaluable lessons learned along the way.
It is expected that the event will improve service delivery in the area of fostering mutual understanding between Nigerian Customs Service and all stakeholders. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
In the meantime, following the appointment by the Board of the Nigeria Customs Service of 2 Deputy Controllers General of Customs and 5 Assistant Controller General of Customs, the Controller General of the service has decorated the newly promoted officers, noting that their elevation is based on merit. Kikelomo Okere has more.
In the last 1 year, the Nigerian Customs Service has witnessed a significant turnover of members of management, with over 10 management staff bowing out of service on the basis of retirement. The Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, says the newly promoted senior officers have shown competence, diligence, and commitment in their approach to their work and responsibility. He therefore urged the new senior officers to be more dedicated so as to take the service to a higher pedestal.
First, this set of officers that we have elevated have been selected very carefully on the basis of merit. I want to assure you that these are officers with proven integrity. These are officers that have shown competence, diligence, and commitment in their approach to their work and responsibility.
Speaking on behalf of the newly promoted senior officers, Deputy Comptroller General of Customs Olaniyan Alajogun applauds the board of the service while pledging unwavering commitment to duty and unparalleled dedication to service.
We are pledging an untainted loyalty, unwavering commitment to duty, and unparalleled dedication to service.
It is indeed a joyous occasion for the celebrated officers. The high point of the event was the decoration of the newly promoted senior officers. It is expected that they will justify the confidence the service reposes in them. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria has reopened the verification portal for nurses and midwives on its website. It was confirmed that the NMCN portal showed that nurses and midwives can now submit verification requests. Various nurses have commended the efforts of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives for bringing the change to fruition. An Abuja-based lawyer, Maxwell Okpara, has dragged the federal government before a high court in Abuja to challenge the alleged tenure elongation of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. Okpara sued Egbetokun, the Nigeria Police Force, Nigeria Police Council, President Bola Tinubu, and the Federal Civil Service Commission on 1st to 5th defendants, respectively. Egbetokun, who was born September 4th, 1964, clocked the mandatory retirement age of 60 this year, according to the public service rule, and is expected to have left office. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Abiodun Lagbaja, says Nigeria must plan to solve the twin problems of poverty and unemployment to avert long-term insecurity and instability in the country. The Chief of Army Staff stated this while presenting the first Strategic Personality Lecture of the Institute of Peace and Strategic Studies, University of Ibadan. Lagbaja says no single agency could solve the myriads of insecurities facing the country, and that the Nigerian Army is deepening synergy with other agencies to achieve the mandates of security of lives and properties and keeping the country safe. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says the days of notorious bandit leader Bello Turji and other terrorists is numbered, as troops are committed to ending insecurity in Zamfara and Northwest Zone. The defense chief stated this when he paid a working visit to the Sector 1 of Operation Hadarin Daji in Gusau, Zamfara State capital. Global Television brings you details. Zamfara is one of several states in northwestern Nigeria terrorized by heavily armed gangs who carry out mass abductions for ransom, as well as burning and looting homes. The Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, is in Zamfara State for one-day operational visit to the 1 Brigade of Nigerian Army and Sector 1 Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji. He first paid a courtesy visit to the State Governor Dauda Lawal and announced that a joint military theatre operation codenamed Operation Fansanyama Northwest will be established to tackle the spread of insecurity in the region. He added that additional helicopters and other fighting equipment will be deployed to the state.
Not tell you what we are putting in place, but definitely reactions have been there. Those areas have been monitored and adequate actions will be taken accordingly. And it's not only him, all other commanders very soon, just like the way today, yesterday night, will be able to take out Halilu himself. We're coming after all of them one by one. The good thing for them is any of them who is smart enough should leave the country. But as long as he remains on the foot of Nigeria, he's not going to last longer than necessary.
The Chief of Defense Staff also announced the killing of Halilu Sububu, a wanted bandit leader operating in western Zamfara, and a cash reward for the troops who carried out the recent operation that led to the death of the wanted bandit leader. The Zamfara State Governor, Dauda Lawal, appreciated the efforts of the security agencies in the state, adding that if Zamfara State can be rid of banditry, 70% of the security challenges in northern Nigeria will be solved.
In the northeast too, we had civilian JTF, were trained, they were profiled by the DSS and the police, and were deployed with our men, and they operated together. And that is what we're going to employ. And
so we're confident that with these efforts, and with the new measures put in place, it's just a matter of time, we will all celebrate. We are 100% behind you and your men, and we have absolute confidence that you will do what you promised. And we'll give you all the necessary cooperation in whatever means, for whatever capacity.
The Chief of Defense Staff proceeded to the headquarters of 1 Brigade Nigerian Army Gusau, where he was briefed on the operational activities of the Sector 1 of Operation Hadarin Daji and offered a minute silence prayers for the souls of soldiers killed in recent bandit attack in the state. Over 30 operational motorcycles, hundreds of ammunition and firearms were recovered during operation. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting. In its efforts to flush out terrorist and armed violent bandits in Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has donated patrol vehicles to the Nigerian police for accelerated response to security threats in the state. Governor Dauda Lawal, while handing over the vehicles to the 16 police divisions, 2 mobile police force units and counter-terrorism units, stated that security of lives and properties is topmost in his rescuing mission agenda. Sharon J has details.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal says operational patrol vehicles will enhance the police response to distressed calls and patrol of the state to ensure a secure environment for the residents. Governor Lawal further commiserates with the police and the Nigerian Army, whose 7 of its personnel were killed in an ambush by suspected terrorists on Thursday morning, and assured to improve the police and other security agencies' efficiency and effectiveness in carrying out their constitutional duties.
We find it within the meager resources that we have as a state to first consider the DPOs and be able to make them mobile so that they will be able to attend to any emergency that arises in the course of their duty. Let me also use this opportunity to condole the CP about the incident that happened where we lost some men today in the course of fighting bandits around Kotorokashi area. May their soul rest in peace.
The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Zamfara State, Captain Bala Meriga, says the essence of the donation of operational patrol vehicles is to enhance police operations and quick response to emergency security threats in the state.
In an effort to eradicate this security problem, it cannot be done without giving consideration to our security personnel, mostly the police, who are closer to the people. And the governor realized that police are not adequately, at least, mobiled. So they don't have enough and strong vehicles to move around in case of emergency.
The Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State, CP Mohammed Danlijan, expressed the readiness of the Nigerian police to defend and protect residents of the state against activities of violent armed bandits who are unleashing terror on innocent citizens.
We will continue to fight them until when they are totally defeated. Sir, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Adewolu Egbetoko, we hereby appreciate you for giving on these patrol vehicles.
He appealed to residents to promptly report suspicious characters to the police. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Meanwhile, 3 soldiers of the Nigerian Army and 4 personnel of the Nigerian Police Force have been killed while repelling bandit attack on Zamfara Highway. Confirming the incident to newsmen in Gusau, the Zamfara State Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Dalijan, says the bandits had planned to attack a construction company working along the highway and abduct some of their workers. He says joint security forces of the Nigerian police and the army were mobilized to the scene, but unfortunately, the bandits laid an ambush and opened fire on them. The commissioner, however, commended the troop who fought gallantly to repel the attack. You're watching the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When Midday News returns, no new pledge on Ukraine missiles after Starmer Biden talks. Details of this and more after this break. Please stay with us. You're watching the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the Midday News, thank you for staying with us. In business, the federal government has announced that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited will be the sole buyer of premium maltose spirits from Dangote Refinery. It also noted that interested marketers would have to buy the product from the national oil firm through its trading company. This was part of the agreement reached with the management of Dangote Refinery on the commercial terms for the supply of crude oil to the refinery and the off-taking and distribution of petrol and diesel from the facility. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has ordered the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company to compensate several communities in Kogi and Abuja for service failures. This mandate follows the company's inability to meet the required service delivery commitments outlined under the service-based tariff system. According to a NEC document, the affected areas include Wuse, Garki, Asokoro in Abuja, and Ajaokuta Confluence in Lokoja, Kogi State. The federal government has prioritized the $2 billion fiber optic project, aiming to enhance Nigeria's internet infrastructure and spur economic growth. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, made this declaration in his address at the G20 Digital Economy Group meeting in Maceió, Brazil. According to Tijani, the expansion of the fiber optic project, which is being supported by the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, the European Union, and other global partners, is a strategic priority for the government. On the foreign scene, bomb threats are being called into schools and businesses are closing at short sundown in Springfield, Ohio, after the small U.S. town became the center of conspiracy theories targeting its Haitian immigrant community, leaving some in fear for their lives. The mostly white city in the American Midwest has seen a boom in population in recent years, fueled mostly by Haitians attracted by its economic revival, and new business happy to attract laborers. But after fleeing gang violence in Haiti, many newcomers are now worried they could be victims of hate crimes here as Republicans stir tensions over the influx of black foreigners during a heated political campaign season. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer did not signal any decision on allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles to hit targets inside Russia after talks with US President Joe Biden in Washington. When asked if he had persuaded Biden to allow Ukraine to fire long-range Storm Shadow missiles into Russia, Sir Keir says they had a long and productive discussion on a number of fronts, including Ukraine as expected, the Middle East and the Indo-Pacific. The White House said they also expressed deep concern about Iran and North Korea's provision of lethal weapons to Russia. In sports, less than 2 weeks since the botched appointment of Bruno Labbadia as the head coach of the Super Eagles, the Nigeria Football Federation faces the onerous task of finding another coach for the Super Falcons following the resignation of Randy Waldrum. The American tactician's resignation became public and coming as a shock for many, but that could be more for the NFF that had handed the coach a contract extension a few months back. The 67-year-old, who has just led Nigeria to the women's football tournament of the 2024 Olympics Games in France, stated his wife's health condition as the reason for his resignation. Josh Maja has missed out on the Sky Bet Championship Player of the Month award for August, which was won by Oxford United striker Mark Harris, despite the Nigeria forward's impressive start to the season with West Bromwich Albion. Maja, who scored 4 goals and provided 1 assist in 4 outings for the Baggies, was among the top contenders for the prestigious award. His standout performance included a hat-trick in Albion's 3-1 victory against Queen's Park Rangers on the opening day of the season. That's it on the Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nigecomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.